Hello everyone. Today this is Trigonometry part 2, and this lesson I'm only going to give you some formulas, some very important formulas in trigonometry part, and I'll prove these as we go, so you don't need to memorize them so hard, and so because you can try to prove yourself as well, and there are no more exercises today. So let's firstly, this is the only one we need to remember, which is sine A plus B is equal to sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. This is called the compound angle formula. And now there's a lemma, and this lemma is called sine 90 degree minus A is equal to cosine A. And how do we prove this? We can just substitute A equals to 90 degrees and B equals to negative A, which is left hand side equals to sine 90 degree minus A, which is equal to sine 90 cosine negative A plus cosine 90 degree sine negative A. And now we know that sine 90 degrees is equal to 1, which means this is equal to cosine negative A, and cosine 90 degrees is equal to 0, which means we can cancel out this section. So which means this is equal to cosine negative A. However, cosine is an even function. So what does even function mean? We learned this in AS, which means that cosine negative A is equal to cosine positive A. This is for the even function. If like odd functions such as sine, which you will get sine negative A equals negative sine bracket A. It's because sine is an odd function. And so here we got this is equal to cosine A, which is equal to right hand side. Okay, so now if we substitute sine A plus B into sine 90 degree minus A plus B bracket, so like we assume that this term is equal to 90 and this term is equal to negative A plus B, and what we are going to get? Well, we are going to get, so we use the same formula again, which is sine, which is here, which sine A, which is sine 90 degrees cosine bracket negative A plus B plus cosine 90 degrees sine bracket negative A. Here is minus negative A minus B. And the same thing, sine 90 degree this is equal to 1 and this is equal to 0, which means this section can cancel out. So which means equals cosine bracket negative A minus B, which is cosine A plus B. And here, so we get cosine A plus B. And if you, so this is this direction. If we go on another direction, then such as sine bracket 90 degrees minus A bracket minus B, if we bracket like that, because these two are the same thing, and we can get this is equal to sine bracket 90 degrees minus A cosine negative b plus cosine 90 degrees minus a sine b. And here we can get, because we have already proved that sine 90 degrees minus a is equal to cosine a. And here we know that cosine is an even function, which means cosine negative b equals cosine b plus well, cosine 90 degrees because we know that sine sine 90 degrees minus a is equal to cosine a, and this means that the oppositely cosine 90 degrees minus a is also equal to sine a, which means cosine 90 degrees minus a is equal to sine a sine b, and that is our formula. So let's state the cosine formula, which is cosine bracket a plus b is equal to cosine a cosine b. Well, here there is, so this should be equal to sine negative b, and here is sine negative b, because here is negative b. And then because sine is an odd function, which means this negative can bring to the front, and this means that cosine a plus b is equal to cosine a cosine b minus sine a sine b. Be careful with this minus sign because it's easy to make mistakes here, and I just made the mistakes as well. Yeah, so this is the cosine formula, and now let's do the tangent formula. Tan, we can get the tan also by, so we try to get tan a plus b. Well, firstly we know that tan a plus b is equal to sine a plus b over cosine a plus b. And this is, so we have got the two formulas now. We can expand this, which means sine a plus b is equal to sine a cosine b plus cosine a sine b. And cosine a plus b is equal to cosine a cosine b minus sine a sine b. And this, and now let's look at this. For sine a cosine b, let's write it like sine a over cosine a times cosine a times cosine b. So simply we just add a cosine a on this base and then we times another. So because when you cancel out these two, it's still the same. So it's called construction. And now, because tan a is equal to sine a over cosine a, so we can write this as tan a times cosine a times cosine b. For the same thing as sine b cosine a, we can write this as sine b over cos b times cos b times cos b times cos a, which means this is equal to tangent b times cosine a times cosine b. And now, when you add these two together, we can get that this is equal to, so which means this is equal to tangent a plus tangent b bracket cosine a times cosine b, and the bottom is cosine a cosine b minus sine a sine b. Okay, let's move to here, and that we can do tangent A plus tangent B over cosine A cosine B over cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B over cosine A cosine B cosine B. And this is equal to 1, and this one is equal to, no, I mean 10A plus 10B equals 1 minus, because sine A over cosine A is tangent A, sine A over cosine B is tangent B, so which we get tangent A plus tangent B over 1 minus tangent A tangent B. And that is our tangent formula, which means, yeah, tan A plus B is equal to tan A plus tan B over 1 minus tan A tan B. And these three formulas are the most important formulas in trigonometry. So this is the tangent one, the cosine one, and the sine one. This one, sine one. So I hope you can understand the proving. If you don't understand, you can leave a comment below. And thank you for today. And I will do some more questions tomorrow, because you know these are not going to be appear in the exam. These are just helping to learn how to prove trigonometry identities, because this skill will be needed in the exam. So see you tomorrow.